So before we move on to coming attractions, Ernie, and before we say goodbye, just wanted to ask you about your documentary, Howard the Duck, where the idea came from, how you went about getting it made. Did you have pre-existing relationships with any of the cast? Just what that process has been like for you and where the inspiration came from.
Basically, it's one of the first inspiration was the fact that it's never been done before. Outside of the bonus features you'll find on the Blu-ray, DVD, 4K, it's only like 20-minute featurettes that like just broad coverage of the making of the movie. So there was that. And at the time when we got the idea was that there was a deluge of fan-funded documentaries being made about various movies and franchises. And I was joking with our friend Ben Gollum, who's my composer on the film. It's like they've done Police Academy, they've done Elm Street, they've done Halloween. Why the hell hasn't anyone done Howard the Duck? And I was just joking. And then I just thought for a minute and stopped and went on Google and looked it up. I was like, no one's ever done this. I'm like, we got an idea here. So right at that spot, that's where I got the title's Howard the Duck. And then Dr. Strangelove popped into my head for some reason. And then I'm like, oh, it's Howard the Duck or How I Learned to Start Quacking and Love the Bomb.
I like that.
So that's what we went with. So basically it's a documentary to showcase the fandom of Howard the Duck, the movie. And just because I know there are people out there who like the movie and you never really hear anyone going out of their way to tell the world, I like this movie. And it was, at the time, this was coming out during fan toxicity, where everyone's like, oh, you like The Last Jedi, you hate Star Wars, you don't get it. It's like, or you hate Rise of Skywalker, you're not a Star Wars fan. Because it's like, they should have done it this way. This is what they were supposed to. I'm like, you're supposed to take the movie for what it is, for what the filmmaker gives you. If you don't like it, okay. If you love it, great. But it's like they don't owe you anything.
Yeah.
So basically, it's just I wanted to put a focus on the fans of Howard the Duck, and there were a lot, and they were reaching out, and it's like, oh, I want to talk about it. And as I was developing the documentary, I'm thinking it would be really cool if I could actually get anyone involved who actually made the movie. I was like, yeah, just for the hell of it, I reached out to Ed Gale on Facebook. He got back to me. He actually said, hey, can I have your number? So we talked on the phone. We talked about it. And then it was about 8 months later before we finally got rolling and started filming. And then we didn't know anyone. It was just a matter of who knows who. My producer, Mike Callio, came on board. We knew each other. And he said he knows someone who works for Phil Tippett. So I was like, oh, great. Let's see what happens there. And then he agreed to do an interview. So I'm like, okay, we're going to have to go to Berkeley. So that's where it just started off. It's like, okay, I got Ed Gale and Emma Pock. I got Phil Tippett. Let's like, who else can we get? And then gradually we just started like getting more names on. And then the pandemic hit. And we had to change things up to going from doing in-person interviews to Zoom. And once I go to Zoom, then really the waterworks just started coming. And we've got Leah Thompson, Jeffrey Jones, who we actually did do in person. Willard Hike was in person. Allie Willis, the late Allie Willis, who co-wrote the song with Thomas Dolby. And Val Mayerick, who was a co-creator of Howard the Duck. So collectively, it's going to be a documentary about the fans of Howard the Duck. We talked to artists who were inspired by Howard the Duck to create their own paintings, figures, artwork, comic books. And then we speak with people who made the film so they can reminisce about making the film and share what they think of the fans. Because I don't think the fans ever really heard from the likes of, say, Jeffrey Jones or Ed Gale or Leah Thompson in mass to say, hey, we love you guys and we appreciate you.
Yeah.
And, so in the end, it's just as much as the negativity is here, I'm trying to keep the negativity out of the documentary because I don't want to focus on that, because I almost went into that area, but thankfully we're so far removed from Last Jedi, so this is no longer relevant to talk about. Like, people's like, oh, Howard the Duck absolutely sucks. I was like, have you seen it? No. then how can you say it sucks? It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, well, that's what I heard. Well, you're your own person. You're your own viewer. Make your own, decide for yourself. See the movie and have your own opinion. Don't go by what other people say. So that's basically what this is. Just like, hey, check this out. These people like it. They're just average people like you or me. And they're saying, no, it's cool to like Howard the Duck.
I'm such a lucky girl in love.
Because I love Howard the Duck.
I do truly appreciate the Howard the Duck fans.
I'm glad that there are people who appreciate all the effort that was put into making this movie.
I can't believe you don't have other people saying that. That's unbelievable to me. How could you look at that duck and go, this is acceptable?
There you go. Get a little better shot of it.
You guys troubling. Like, that was probably somebody's first time seeing this.
But why was the condom open?
People remember that scene for a lot of reasons, and it's usually a little bit off color.
It's also barbed, it would poke holes.
Like we're looking for things to make sense in Howard the Duck.
Showed it to George, and he went like, eh.
But this is weird shit happens when I'm around.
What the fuck?
And I'll be sure to contact you, get the information, make sure I have the information correct to include it in the description of this episode, and wherever this video goes, I'll be sure to include it so people can click a link and follow whatever is going to be the best course way to follow the progress of the project. I'm sure that anybody that's watched it, that's taken the time to watch this, that has made it to this point in the episode, will be interested in seeing what you're doing as well. So we'll make sure that they get where they need to go to follow that.